All right, everyone. Welcome to Random Real Estate Questions.
It does seem random that we're here again.
Yes, it does.
But, I mean, I am at an undisclosed, Black Ops operation. So in case any of you are wondering why it doesn't look like my normal location, I am in a top security Pentagon type area, but here to answer your questions.
All right. Let's see. What's the first question, David?
Well, let's see. So I got the first question. Somebody came to me. I got an email, and I got, what is supplemental tax? Do you want to jump in
so people can see that too?
You want to type it in there just so people can see the question we're going over?
Yeah, I'm typing it in. All right. There we go. Grammar, I think, is all correct.
Well, we're not English teachers, so that's totally fine.
All right. Do you want to take this first one?
Yeah. So if you want to look at supplemental tax is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about because we already pay too many taxes in California, and nobody wants to know what's another tax. So what happens is when you're buying a property, you have property taxes, you have transfer taxes, and then you have supplemental taxes. The supplemental tax is something that comes when you close on the property. What it is, it's what the seller originally paid for the property, less what you paid for the property, times 1%, and the bill gets sent to you. It either arrives 3 months after you close, 6 months, or 12 months. There is no set time frame. Sometimes they're quick, sometimes they're slow. But the one thing you can always count on in the state of California is they're not forgetting about your taxes. So it will always show up at some point in time. And the question that I just want to parlay, let me look here because somebody also asked me, how can I pay it? So we'll go into that one next. But the supplemental tax, it arrives after you purchase the house, and it's a difference between what the original owner paid and what you paid. So as an example, to make it simple, if the original owner paid $200,000 for the house 10 years ago during the recession, and now you're buying it for $650,000, that's $450,000 difference times 1%. Your bill, $4,500. How's that? Oh,
I think that was very informative.
That was actually a text message of somebody texting me a question because I know it's hard to follow directions, Vinnie. I mean, people struggle, but
if you're joining us now, feel free to comment on the post or send a text. But yeah, what was your next question?
So the next one I had is, do I always have to impound on my loan? Which I think, someone should have been a little bit clearer, but let's explain impound. So could you put on there, the next thing is, what is impounding for a loan?
All right, let's see. Yeah, you got it. All right, my English teacher would love me right now with impounding. Okay, well. Definitely makes it easier if it's commented on here, so I can just share it. But don't worry, I did this. What is impounding?
What is impounding? Well, I don't know what impounding is.
Oh yeah, how do you spell it?
I got an impounded toenail.
Impounding. That's wrong. Impounding. Oh, that's why. Impound. Oh, sorry. See, this is why I don't do grammar. Impounding.
I think there's a baby tiger loose in the back behind you. I see it.
Oh, you see it up there? Yeah.
That's amazing. One day I'll have a cat.
Huh?
I said one day I'll own a cat. Okay. So anyways, what is impounding on a loan? This was a question that was directly texted in, which, we're going to work on getting this format set up better, but I'm still grateful people are, reaching out. So impounding there's another one. Impounding on the loan is what happens is when you purchase a house, if you put down less than 20% on the loan, you mandatory have impounds. Now, impounds is property taxes and insurance. They both come together into your impound account. You have no choice whether or not to have impounds or not have them when you put down less than 20%. So if you're purchasing a house and you're putting down 10%, 5%, 3.5%, the lender will always tell you, oh, we have to impound taxes and insurance. So that's your property taxes and your insurance included in the payment.
What happens there too for taxes? It can vary too. I mean, because they do an estimation of where the funds are going to go, so it can change year to year. Just FYI.
The other thing is, for those of you who are buying a house and putting down 20%, you can choose to opt out of impounds. Oh, there's another one. You can choose to opt out of impounds and then don't include them in their payment. But every 6 months, you will have property taxes and insurance due, and it will always show up.
Yes. What was the next one? You got another one?
I got another one. I got the next one is, what's the lowest loan I can get for down payment? I mean, how about
VA?
Yes, that would be VA. So let's put the question up there, and then we'll answer it a couple.
What's the lowest loan I can, or what is the lowest money down they meant?
Let's do, what's the lowest down payment?
Or what's the least money I would have to put down for it? Right.
Are we waiting for what is the least money I would have to put down for down payment? Well, for those of you who did not serve in the military, if you served in the military, you can get a VA loan with 0 down. 0 down means no down payment. 0. But for the rest of the population that did not serve, the least money you can put down, this is a great question, because there used to be a time prior to this more hectic market where we would do loans with down payment assistance and grant money, and buyers would come in with 0.5% down and sometimes 0 down through grant money. Now, with those loans that take 45 days to close, what do you think, Vinny? Is an agent going to accept an offer right now if I told them 45-day close with down payment assistance and a grant?
It's going to be fairly hard unless it's sitting there for a little while.
Another one.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but if you can get to probably 3%, that's going to be probably your least money down with the shortest terms or time frame. So
just to be a little bit more clear, if you're buying a house for $548,250 or less, you can use a 3% down payment to get into the house. If you want to go above $548,250, you can use a 3.5% down payment with FHA. And the FHA is probably one of the better loans that first-time buyers use to get in all the time, because you can also buy a duplex, a triplex, and a 4-unit place with 3.5% down on FHA loans. And that's some of the best in the business. If you're lucky enough to have a realtor that's not in the top 20% selling homes, they need to be in the minimum top 5% to have any sort of shot of competency. You can get into a great place, maybe a 2 or 3 unit place with 3.5% down. It's an amazing deal.
Yeah. Remember too, the mortgage insurance, how that's going to factor into with FHA compared to conventional and things like that. So things to really think about. You had another question there?
I had another one. This one's going to be more for you. It is, what is slab and pier and post foundations?
What is slab and pier and post foundation? What is slab and pier and post? All right. So the easiest way to talk about this, is it poured on slab, right? So the house, it's built directly on poured concrete, or is it in essence raised foundation, right? So if it's raised, you're going to have concrete blocks, and you're gonna have a piece of wood or some kind of fixture connecting to the beams and holding the property a little above the ground, so there's an access underneath for you to crawl or things like that. So it's built on slab or raised. That's really roughly the difference of it. In my opinion, it's if you see a raised foundation and there's issues with the raised foundation, it's going to be easier to fix and repair. It's actually going to be a lot easier than built on slab. So things to think about if you do see quote unquote foundation issues. If it's on slab, it could get really costly. If it's on pier and post, if it's raised, it could be a lot more affordable.
So Vinny, this is kind of unique because this other person sent in this thing. It said, "What is crack slab?" So this kind of ties right into this.
All right, let me write that down. Crack. What is cracked?
And that's also works with another one where someone asked me is, "Do you finance crack slab?"
Yeah, so crack slab is just basically there's an issue with the foundation. It could be, mind you, it could be for the garage or another area that's not a slab that was poured for the house. So it could be separate from the house. And you do see a lot of slabs, like poured slabs or placed slabs that are cracked in the garage because so when you lay concrete, right, there's PSI, okay, how much strength that concrete can hold. And
not TMI. That's nothing to do with TMI.
Yeah, nothing to do with it. So it's the strength of it. And over time, the longer you allow that concrete to harden, right, the more it can hold over time, right? So what happens in the garage, you'll see a lot of cracks from most houses. You'll see cracks in their slab right there because they probably drove the car or heavy things too early on the slab or just over time. The concrete expands and contrasts, and there maybe wasn't expansion joints allowed in there. So if it's in the garage, you're probably going to see for the most part or outside some kind of cracks in the slab. But if it's, you probably for the most part won't see it inside the house unless it's on slab, right, built on the foundation, and maybe the carpet was pulled up, or if it's really, really bad, then you see it comes like it makes the ground be affected too. But you'll see it in some places where the slab's cracked and they kind of put some kind of covering over it so you won't even notice it.
You know, we seem to be getting a slab of questions right now. This is
oh gosh, we got another slab question.
Yes. So how can I tell if there's potential slab problems?
Can I tell?
So, this is a good one. I actually like this question because I've seen this quite a bit in other houses, and this is something that your home inspector will address, and your realtor that's in the upper echelon levels will see this as well. So let's wait till get the cracks
our possible slab problems. Okay, so the easiest way, how can I tell if there are possible slab problems? The easiest way is looking at the door frames, right? So there's usually some sort of movement that happens with the house. Again, you expansion and contraction, right? But when you see there's the foundation has dropped, the door frames are set in a particular set. So if the foundation has dropped a little bit, you'll see cracking above the frame right there, and that'll usually show that there's some kind of settlement that happened over time. That's usually your biggest indicator in a property to look if there's cracking above the door frame. Besides that, I mean, you can look outside, but it matters how it was poured. They might be pouring different pieces at different times, and then so if one slab is affected, it doesn't necessarily mean the other slab is going to be affected. Hopefully that helps. I
think you know what else I've seen, Vinny? I've seen where you'll see cracks throughout the house all running off the door jambs.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you'll see, more qualified home inspectors will come in and they'll do a laser beam level and show you the difference of the house if it's shifted. Because sometimes one corner will be higher and one corner lower. This is not a dance move for those of you who are wondering. It's actually a thing to show you that if a slab may have moved. It could be tilted a little bit, and a good home inspector can actually laser that out on the floor and see that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference, if the whole slab has moved, is the slab still in place, but the house is readjusted. I mean, you could put some kind of fillers in the flooring, maybe offset, that kind of settling. I mean, there's possible things to do. There's a rule of thumb: if you can put a quarter in the crack, I think it's a quarter. If you put a quarter in the crack, that's probably
not in jukebox.
But if you put a quarter in the crack and it can go all the way in there, there's probably something you really want to take care of and work with. But if the crack is smaller than a quarter, it's probably not that bad. I mean, that's roughly the rule of thought. So even if you're looking in the garage and you see and there's cracking in there, but you can't fit a full quarter in there, then it's probably just basically superficial and probably won't do anything. But if it's a really big and you put a quarter all the way in that crack, you might want to figure out what you're going to do with it.
I got another one here that this seems to come up a lot, where it goes, what is GFI plugs?
What are GFI plugs?
I know we're running out of time here. I mean, I also got another one about window flashing, not flashing, full disclosure, window flashing. Huge difference and not the same thing.
Oh, wait, not GFI. GFI.
Yeah, what are GFI plugs? Because you do see that on a lot of home inspections. Like, the house doesn't have GFI plugs, and then everyone panics.
Yeah, so they're GFI basically outlets. So if you're living in a house or a condo, a townhome, whatever it might be, go to your kitchen or your bathroom, right? And you're gonna see those an outlet, and they have two buttons in there, right? So those are grounding, right? So each run, right, that you have for your electricity will go to a breaker. And if, let's say, too much power is hitting one of the outlets, it will turn off your breaker, right? That's a protection mechanism. Basically, it's allowing grounding for the whole run for the GFI on that outlet. So if there's water basically hits the outlet or some kind of issue happens, it will break. It'll churn off that run right there to protect you. That's in essence what it is. So you want one of those GFIs either in the same run for a bathroom and a kitchen where there's water access.
And just to let you know, people, they're not expensive. It's easy to replace GFI plugs, and even I could do it, which is even like a caveman could do it. I replaced my own GFI plugs. It's 3 wires. It's just a matter of make sure you turn off all the power in the house, or you will have a really, really good awakening, better than the strongest coffee you ever had in your life.
Yes.
So, so I had another one. I have is it window flashing? It's window flashing. I have the window flashing question, but I think I want to skip that one because I think this was better. This question was, do all houses need a termite report?
All houses. Oh, I gotta love this one.
This is a great one.
All right.
We're running out of time here, but at least, we got some. We had a bunch of people send in questions. We're going to work on following directions next time, but that's okay because, I don't follow directions all the time either. And, my wife tells me I'm a terrible listener and I don't follow directions, and what happens.
All right, we'll finish it off with this question, and we're going to do this again. This was fun. I mean, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and we'll get some other questions going out there. So termite. Any piece of wood except redwood, termites love, right? Okay, except redwood. Now, you can basically get your house tented, right? You get a termite report, and you get your house tented. It doesn't kill the termites. All it does is basically those termites.
To your neighbor's house.
Exactly. It sends it to your neighbor's house right there. So if you get your house tented, right, and then your neighbor gets their house tented, and a couple weeks later, you could possibly get those termites again.
Yes, very likely. I myself was that victim. My house, the neighbor 2 houses down. I had no termites. He got his house dented, and all of a sudden I was infested with termites. It's freaking terrible. And I had to retent my whole house again.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, by the agreement, VA you need termite. FHA, if it's not in the RP, correct me if I'm wrong. If it's not in the RPA, doesn't ask for termite report, then you don't necessarily need it for FHA. From what I understand, for VA you do need that.
Where the odds are 95% you're going to need termite on FHA too as well. It's very, very likely they're going to ask for the clearance. And then just full disclosure on conventional loans, we don't ask for it. And what could happen is if the appraiser comes in there and he takes a bunch of pictures of termite holes with the little dust pyramids and puts them in the appraisal, all of a sudden the underwriter has the right to call out for termite. So even if, your agent's very savvy like Vinnie and he goes, hey, we're not going to get the offer accepted if we ask for termite and all this stuff. So we're not going to ask for termite. So you don't put it in the contract. If it gets put in pictures in the appraisal and gets sent in to the underwriter to look at, it's very likely you will get called out and have to get it. And that is that's a bad one.
Well, and the fun one too is what's the difference between Section 1 and Section 2 termite? Ooh. Section 1 is active infestation. Section 2 is the possibility of infestation. You gotta love that word of the possibility of it, right? So
the possibilities of appraisers making mistakes and home inspectors and agents and lenders, there's people involved, so there is mistakes to be made. So keep that in mind. That's why it's so important you hire a pro to help you out, because you don't want expensive mistakes.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for being here. Please join us for the next one. I think this is a blast. What do you think, David?
What do you mean? Yeah, that's it. We're at 22 minutes. We're done.
Right, thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.